Hi friends, welcome back. This is MVK. Hope you remember. My full name is Vijay Kumar. I works in Dubai for a big four company as a director for IT department. I looks after around 8 to 9 countries globally. Okay, coming back to the point. Hope you recollect there were some sessions which I've done earlier for career and guidance, and we'll continue that today. With respect to the career guidance, there are a lot of questions or queries raised by a lot of the students. How they can get a decent job, in big MNCs, right? So for that, I prefer to give a 5-point checklist, which is must for every student. So to get into a decent job, and once you completed your bachelor degree, either in commerce or sciences or computer science, or engineering, or for that matter, MBA, okay, any masters, right? So first of all, you need to have a 5-point check. So let me get into the details and let us understand what are those 5 points which are required to get a decent job wherein our life will be fruitful over the time. Okay, then let's get into that. Number one is you need to understand what kind of industries are there in the market and which industry you're focusing. A lot of students, what they will do is when they are trying to get into, especially when they're studying final year or they just come out from the colleges, they're not clear what kind of industries they are targeting. This is pretty much important if you are in sales and marketing, if you are in IT, like for that matter, any vertical you're doing, this industry vertical will makes a lot of difference. So you need to know in which industry are you going. Are you targeting a typical IT services industry vertical? Are you targeting a typical retail industry? Are you targeting a typical FMCG? You need to know the differences of these companies. You need to know what kind of companies are there in the market, and you need to do a proper R&D on that. What I will do is I will prepare a separate video about various industries in the market and what kind of opportunities you can expect in each industry down the line. For now, first thing is you guys need to know what kind of industry you're targeting. Let us assume that you are targeting a typical IT services company, right? Or you are targeting a typical retail company. So when you target this retail industry vertical and you are targeting few companies in retail industry, then the next step starts. That is, the second step is what is the structure, the functional structure which is prevailing in that particular industry verticals. There are a lot of companies. Every company will have their own structure, but when I say industry vertical, this will apply. Let's assume that you are getting into a pharmaceutical industry vertical. You will have different kind of departments and focusing on various kinds of jobs. If you're taking automobile, you will have a different kind of functional structures which will be focusing. Typically, in any particular industries, when I say industries within that a company will have certain common departments which you might have studied. If you have studied MBA, you might have known this. If you have studied engineering, probably in the principles of management, you have learnt about this. If not, let me just give a very quick high level overview. In any particular company, you will have a typically 5 to 6 departments, which is like it starts with sales department, then it gets into the procurement department, then you have production department. If you are a manufacturing company, like either you are a steel manufacturer or an FMCG, you will have a production department. Then you will also have something called finance, HR department, and you will have a typically, apart from all these things, you will have a senior management layer which will cut across all the departments. Now, When you talk about sales and marketing, when you talk about procurement, when you talk about production, all these are very much interlinked, and there are various kinds of job opportunities for various kinds of degrees. For example, if you do MBA, you can go and join as a procurement executive in a procurement department. You can join as a sales and marketing executive. You can be a marketing executive. You can be a business development executive in sales department. You can join as a production, probably a production executive if you are a MBA production, or you are a bachelor of engineering in the production department. So you can also join in finance department if you are an MBA finance or chartered accountant or an MCom graduate, or for that matter even become graduate. You can start your career in HR if you are an MBA HR or Master of Human Resource Management, or you have done Master of Social Work. So you have, based on your qualifications, you have an opportunity to go and get into various departments. So you need to know all these functions. Of course, if you study MBA, probably you will have various kinds of case studies, you might be knowing them in detail. But for all other departments, not only the MBA, for all other, when I say department of schools, in other words, you need to know clearly what kind of department we are talking about. I have missed one more thing, which is also R&D, research and development, which will play a vital role in a lot of organization. There will be an R&D department in automobile, in pharmaceutical. I mean, almost every company these days will have, of course, you coming from a typical mainstream modules, like if you're a BSc chemistry, you might be getting into pharmaceutical. If you're a B pharmacy, you might be getting into pharmaceutical company. If you're a bachelor of engineering, automobile, then you will be getting into a research and development, probably in BMW or any other automobile company. So the crux of the story here is you need to know the departments which are prevailing. And mind you, all these departments are not same for all the companies, but fundamentally, though the name may be little bit changed, but obviously there will be various departments. After knowing the departments, basically when you talk about the department, the final one also we need to consider is the IT department, which lot of prospects will be looking to get in. Typically an IT department will have a combination of application team and infrastructure team. A lot of people think that you need to be a bachelor of engineering, especially computer science, then only you can get into this IT department. But that assumption is wrong. Basically, you can get into this IT department even if you are a typical MBA graduate with an SAP background. That depends upon the kind of applications the company using and the kind of knowledge level you carry. So you can even target the IT department also. So once you are clear in terms of industry vertical, if you are clear in terms of departments, then the actual things comes in. The third one is, what are your capabilities? We are talking till now the external factors, either it may be a industry vertical, either it may be within the company, what kind of department. For example, if you are not an outspoken personality, if you are not a sensitive guy, if you are not a sensible guy, if you are not able to catch what is the other person is thinking, if you do not have the capability of going aggressively into the market, you can't be suitable, you can't take a sales role. It happens even in other vertical also. If you're not good at the numbers, if you're not good at knowing the debit and credit, though you are a bachelor of commerce and still you don't have that capabilities, you can't get in a finance department. So you need to know what are your capabilities, what are your skills. This is an unique thing. Don't go by your faculty, go by your historical data. Meaning, if you are done with your MBA by now, you might be knowing in this last 10 years, 3 years or 4 years in bachelor degree, in 2 years in MBA, where you performed extraordinarily. Are you good at conducting events? Are you good at writing examinations? Are you good at conducting of a kind of a case studies along with the team? You are very good at. So based on that, you need to choose. This applies across the departments. If you are a very good negotiator, you go to the shop and you do very good negotiation, probably you can get into procurement department. So you need to know what are the various skills which you have and where you will really fit in. So either it may be a sales, either it may be a procurement side, or it may be a finance side, or a R&D side. You might, if you are a person, do lot of invention kind of a personality. If you do lot of inventions, meaning probably you might not be invented a great thing, but while you are working, you might be coming up with innovative ideas. Probably you may be suitable for R&D. This is something which you need to talk yourself. You need to analysis your historical data. When I say historical data, your historical data, you need to check all your checkpoints, and based on that, choose the department, choose the career. Let's assume that I will take a typical example. Let's assume that you are studying MBA and you are in MBA final semester. You took finance as a specialization and HR as a minor. Finance as a major and HR as a minor. At the end of the examinations, you realized that you have so much of passion on the recruitment, so much of passion in conducting, talking to the people, identifying the jobs. Like, I mean, if you are good in that, how do you know that? Probably whenever anybody talking about any particular opportunity, it may quickly trigger in your mind what kind of JD is talking, how many number of jobs, recruitment, number of roles they are filling in. If you get into that mode, if you start thinking in that direction, you know that you have something different from others. It's easy to identify. There is no rocket science in this, but you need to keep yourself calm, take a week time, understand day by day, and take a decision. Let's assume that you have taken a decision that you want to get into MBA HR now. Within MBA HR, what is that like? Meaning you want to get into purely HR role. What kind of HR role are you talking? Are you talking a pure functional HR role, or you want to get in an ERP wherein you will be going and implementing an HR application in the organizations? Because you will see that combination in the market. People will be very strong in computers, will also have the skill of getting that particular HR functional things. These are the people who are needed by the companies. So once you finalized, once you are clear in terms of the skill, now you need to get into the market and you need to groom yourself to get that role. That is where people like us, people like who are giving the career guidance, will play a vital role. Let's assume that even before that also, I mean, you can go and talk to the people who are in the industry, understand. All these things happens only when the dialogue, when until otherwise you don't talk to the people, you never ever get what is there in the industry. You need to speak up. This is mandatory. So once you are talking to them, understand, and you decided that okay, I will be doing HR IT implementation, I will do a business application implementation. There are a lot of products, like you can say Workday, you can have something called Success Factor. There are products which are ERP products. Not only that, there are a lot of small size applications also. You have decided that I want to be a techno functional, meaning I want to learn this and go and implement the functions. Fair enough. Get into the market, understand, talk to the people. When you say talk to the people, if you decided that you want to get into the technology side, go and talk to the technology people. You understand, okay, within, if I want to get HR technical side, okay, these are the 5 modules available in the market. You can be a success factor expert, you can be a Workday expert, you can be an Oracle HR expert. You need to understand those things. Out of those things, go a step lower. What kind of opportunities I will get if I complete success factor? How strong is the product? How many opportunities are there in the market? What kind of work day it is? What kind of jobs I get? What is the salary paid? What is my situation after 10 years? You can't choose an application which will be absolute in 5 years. This has happened in 2000 when everybody was learning COBOL only because of the Y2K problem. And all of them came on the roads after 3 4 years. Never ever do this mistake. Do the longevity, understand. Please note it down, all these points, what I'm saying. You need to note it down in terms of when I choosing an application, is the product is number one or not? What kind of the longevity we can expect? How many jobs are there in the market? What is scalability? When I say scalability, is there a possibility that this will be added a lot of all these things, all this information? When you go and talk to the counselor, for example, you stay somewhere and you want to join the course, you will ask all these things. This is what you need to ask in demo classes. This is what you need to get the details. Once you are absolutely perfect and you things like you are absolutely known clearly what module need to be done, then you go ahead. You can do online training or you can do offline training. What I suggest, there are a lot of free content available in YouTube. First, don't just throw money there. Spend time, understand the module, understand that particular technology. Or if you are, for example, I'll take a finance, you want to get into a finance as a function, you say, sir, no, I want to be a clear cut a functional guy. Get into the finance training, understand how the record keeping happens, how the GST filling happens in India, globally, how the accounts are managed, what are the roles and functionalities of a typical financial executive. All these are, you have a detailed level of courses available. You need to do them. Do some certification. Understand, by understanding them, you can do some certifications in the functional side or in the technical side. These are the things which you need to do. This is number 4, point number 4. And getting the right training, either it may be online and offshore or offline. Make sure you're absolutely intact with the industry expectation. And finally, once you're done with your training, once you are very clear now, and you go and give an attempt to that interview, you will miserably fail. Why? Because you don't know the real-time environment. This is where another important things plays. You have two options to gain the knowledge on the industry. First thing is, if you are a fresh passed out, let's assume that, okay, so MVK sir said, let me do it. You gone ahead and did the SAP finance and you're done it this in the final year. Now, once you're done, there is a campus recruitment. People come and start doing the interviews. This is one way you have opportunity, you get in, and this is where you have started. There is another opportunity where a lot of companies these days, a lot of startups are there. They will be offering internships. Do those internships. While you're studying itself, do this internship. Which are the skills which you're looking for? Do those internships. So either campus recruitments or the internship you are doing, or there are third kind of things where there are live project experiences also given in the market. There are a lot of institutions which are giving live project experience or real-time experience which will give you a simulation kind of. Go through that. Get them hand to hand, understand. For example, if you are talking about an Oracle application implementation, you understand what kind of phases it will be there, what happens in each phase, what is my role as a Oracle HR consultant, what is my role in the designing phase. Likewise, you need to understand your roles and responsibilities so that you are holistic when you are attempting even as a trainee positions in any companies. If you are sure, if you are done with this 5, trust me, there are a lot of companies looking for you. We are the typical people. We need somebody who are enthusiastic, who are knowledgeable, who are methodological. We don't pick the people. We don't care if you have 10 years or 5 years. If you do not have a proper knowledge, if you do not have what are you doing, if you do not clear what you are doing, nobody can help you. Please help yourself. And looking forward for your responses. You can reach out me on email. All the best. Thank you.